Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to formally welcome you to the celebration of Speedway 2018, the 90th anniversary of our sport. Technically a day early. It all kicked off at High Beach, not so far away, 90 years ago tomorrow, but we're in early for our celebration here. There's no gemstone officially allocated to a 90th anniversary, but I know emerald and silver are usually allocated there because they're symbols of endurance, and endurance is what our sport is all about. We're here today to celebrate the past. You can hear the bikes starting to rev up behind me. Go and have a look at those. You can view those from the AstroTurf. They'll be every hour on the hour. And we're here to celebrate the present and the future. We're delighted to welcome formal stands from the likes of Lakeside, Rye House, Peterborough, Mildenhall, the Isle of Wight, and many, many more. The Speedway Museum has got a very special exhibition. We'll be celebrating that, a collection of Ivan Mauger memorabilia, very kindly loaned to us by his family. So take a look at that. And the National Speedway Trophy, the Daily Mail National Speedway Trophy, will also be amongst us. So plenty to keep you busy during the course of the day. Plenty of interviews to keep you busy as well. So welcome on board and enjoy. Well, it's time for our first interview of the morning. It's Jan Staechmann, everybody, and Jan, welcome to the celebration of Speedway. First time visitor?
Yes, it is the first time, and yeah, it's brilliant to see so many people here.
It does seem to be a great celebration of the present, the past, the future in there, a real hodgepodge, and that's really what it's all about.
Well, yeah, it's a good chance for everybody to get together, and it's lovely to hear and see all the old bikes outside, and you come in here and it's like an Aladdin's cave, all the memorabilia, all the programs, badges, stickers and everything else that we all come to love with Speedway, and of course all the videos.
Well, I think of Jan Staechmann as international class Speedway rider, world finalist, Grand Prix man as well. I don't think of him as a video dealer here, but that's what it's all about. You are not just a dealer, but a true collector of the sport in there. What is in your collection?
Well, there's several thousand DVDs and videos, but yeah, it all came about because obviously it's pieces of racing history, isn't it? And it all came about because I was looking for meetings that I'd written in that I hadn't got and I hadn't seen. I've always collected videos, and Mike Bennett said, "Oh well, I'm immigrated to Australia. Why don't you buy MBI videos?" And that's how it started. And now I've got 14 different companies and the Classic Speedway Videos banner, and yeah, it's a very good hobby.
So for those who delve back in time, you've mentioned MBI. What are some of the other brands that we'll find in there? Some of the tracks that you've got extensive collections on?
Well, I think we've got meetings from all the tracks in the UK and many in Europe. You know, the big companies like Aces on video, JST videos, Heathens on video. Let's have a look around here. We've got K&M video, which is all the really old stuff from the very early 80s. There's Big Lonsdale Productions, KP video from Halifax. There's Hull Vikings, there's B&J videos, Pollen videos. Positive videos, the 83 season at Cradley, for instance, Swindon Speedway videos. It's quite a lot.
So really, if you want to go back 20, 30 years, anything in that sort of realm there, satisfaction guaranteed?
Hopefully, yes. We aim to please.
And also at very reasonable prices.
Very reasonable prices. Come and see me.
Come and see Jan Staechmann. I'm sure he'll shake your hand, give you an autograph as well. He's here with his Classic Speedway video stand there. They are very reasonable prices, and I've not been paid off to give that little bit of verbiage there. But do come and see him. You'll find him here in the marquee. And a special offer, free postage on all orders placed here today. You can't go wrong with that. So even if you can't find what you want and take them away, you can get them sent to you free of charge, postage-wise, and great deal there. So come and see Jan. He won't bite, and he'll certainly have a chat with you about Speedway as well as tell you what's available. Well, at this point in time, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Speedway historian John Chaplin to the stage. He's standing next to a magnificent trophy, one that is truly part of our heritage. The Daily Mail National Speedway Challenge Trophy. John knows far more about this than I ever will. So John, I'm going to pass you the mic and give us the lowdown on what is truly part of our Speedway history.
Thank you, Craig. I mean, really, we are in the presence of Speedway history today. This is the iconic trophy donated by the Daily Mail in a sort of FA Cup competition, started in 1931 and it went on until the 50s. Bellevue won it most times, 9. I think Wembley won it 5 times, and then the rest of them one or 2 each. But it's been a lot of hard work to get this, and my friend here, Connor from the Daily Mail, has been extremely helpful. It's been a lot of hard work for Peter and all the staff and Carly to get it here because of insurance complications. But it's here now, and we're very grateful to the Daily Mail. I used to work for them at one time, and come and have a look at it, touch it. You'll never get another opportunity. But I had hoped today to get another trophy here from Craig Cook, who's the British champion, and he holds the British Championship trophy, which is, many people may not know, is the original pre-war World Championship trophy. But Craig couldn't come, and I've got a message here from him which says, I am sorry that I can't be there with you today, but with the biggest year of my career ahead of me, I'm working hard every day towards getting everything, including myself, fully prepared for the forthcoming season. Having had a tough year in 2017, where I had numerous physical and mental issues to deal with, I now need to be selfish and concentrate on myself as I look to make my mark as a full-time Grand Prix rider. The British Speedway, for British Speedway to be celebrating its 90th anniversary is a really special occasion, and I wish everyone all the very best for what I hope will be a really great day for all of those involved. I'm sure that all the hard work that has gone into the organisation of today will make it a resounding success. And that's on best regards, Craig Cook. Now then, I've got another one here from somebody called Bruce Penhall. Are there any Craigley Heath supporters here? Any? Well, Bruce writes, it seems like yesterday that I was doing a wheelie across the finish line at Wembley Stadium back in 1981. I've had so many fond memories of racing in the UK back in the late 70s, early 80s, and I'm truly thankful to all the supporters, family, friends, and of course my mechanics. I was so fortunate to have developed so many friends over the 5 years that I was in England, and I wish I could still see them. English Speedway was truly the only way one could become world champion, and I was one of the fortunate few who also won it at Wembley. I was lucky enough to have been signed by what I call the best Speedway team in Britain. Of course, I would say that. The Craigley supporters took me under their wings and never let me go. Thank you all of England for such an amazing country to what I had called home away from home. I am forever grateful. And he signs it on the room, Bruce Penhall. So he never lost his lower Gorn accent. Now there's another one here. I won't keep it too long. This is from Ove Fundin. It says, my dear friends, I'm sorry I can't be with you to celebrate 90 years of English Speedway. Speedway has been and still is a great part of me. Not for 90 years, but for 97. It is also a long time. 20 years as a rider and the rest as a keen follower. I rode 18 years in England and dare say those years were the best years of my life. As the situation is for English Speedway today, I feel sad. Many famous tracks like Wembley, West Ham, Wimbledon, New Cross and my track Norwich are gone. But at the same time, I'm sure that English Speedway will live at least another 90 years, and that it will again produce the riders like the unforgettable Jack Parker, Tommy Price, Jack Young and Old Lawson, just some of the great riders I knew. I also think the English Speedway again will be the magnet for riders from all Speedway countries like it was once for me and many others. It was a dream to be invited to race in England, the home of Speedway. And if you could make it to ride for a team, well, you were in heaven. Long live English Speedway, the sport we all love, and that's why I know we're Fundin. I've got one more, I won't keep you very long. And this is from Ronnie Moore. He says 90 years is a hell of a long time. I still have 5 years to go to reach it. For every 30 years, Phil Rising has been sending me the Speedway Star, which is great to see what is going on in the Speedway world. But also it hurts to see the number of people now going to watch Speedway. Back in the 50s at Wimbledon, they had to delay the start of the meeting sometimes to get them in. But out here in New Zealand at my track, we have a 40 race programme, entry cost for £5. To me, cricket was a boring sport until they brought in the one-day matches and filled the stadium. So with regard to Speedway, someone has got to come up with something to get the crowds back. It was a big part of my life, especially in the early years, getting married, having twins once at Wimbledon. Speedway gave me the opportunity to make lifelong friends and experience a life career that not many people get to do. My best wishes to everyone and to all the people who are still making the sport survive. All the best. Ronnie Moore, and that's me.
Well, you know, they start them young at Peterborough Speedway. Young Charlie is with us, official Panther Cub. A little bit older than that is Carl Johnson, the team manager for the Panthers. And Carl, delighted to see you here today, and delighted to see the Panthers back again. What is it, 3, 4, 5 years on the trot here? They've been a part of the celebration of Speedway, and it's become a regular fixture for Peterborough here at the Paradise.
Yeah, it's a fantastic event. You only got to look at the people that turn out every year. So, you know, we're pleased to be here, and it's good for us, good for the sport. So it's great to be here.
Great to be here. Let's talk a little bit about the recent past, the 2017 season. I think fair to describe it as a real roller coaster ride for the club.
Yeah, it was up and down all season, but you know, it's not the way you start, it's the way you finish. And we finished with 2 trophies, which is fantastic. You know, first time in 10 years that we've taken any silverware, so it was brilliant for the club. And you know, after all that we went through last season, it was really good at the end of the year.
Yeah, and we talk about true underdogs. The Fours, the Panthers were underdogs, and that knockout cup final against Ipswich, who came so close to winning the league championship themselves. There, it really was backs against the wall. Nobody expected the Panthers to do what they did, both in August at the showground and indeed in October in that cup final.
No, and you know, and I said to Chris and Richie after the away leg at Ipswich that Ipswich didn't deserve to lose the meeting or, you know, lose the tie, but you know, you have to take the opportunities when they arise, and we done that. You know, they obviously lost Rory and Danny in the final, and you know, it's not easy to overcome that, and you know, it was unfortunate for them, but brilliant for us.
Now, people will be saying 2018, the Peterborough team here. There's certain things that we cannot say, but equally there are certain things that we can say about the team that's been put together. What can we say?
Well, we've got 5 riders, that's a start. Yeah, there's obviously certain things that we can't mention because it's still ongoing, but you know, we will have a team, and we will have a 1 to 7 hopefully within the next few weeks. And you know, it's just paperwork at the minute, and hopefully the people upstairs will see sense and you know, allow us our 1 to 7.
I was going to say, what can be said is that there is a 1 to 7 subject to BSPA final approval.
Yeah, there is at the minute. We've put our team decks in, and we have got a 1 to 7, but it's obviously waiting approval, so we'll see.
Okay, early fixtures for the Panthers. We'll miss the opener for just a moment. We'll come to that in a sec. But obviously, some big meetings at the showground those first few weeks. Big local derbies against Lakeside and Ipswich. Those are big things to look forward to.
Yeah, every meeting this year is big, as it has been the last couple of seasons. But it's nice to have Lakeside obviously in our league this year, and gives us another so-called local meeting, which is good for us. And it's a different track. I'm sure a lot of our boys have never been there, so they're obviously going to come up against a tight little slick place. So, but it'll be good. It's it's good for everyone to get a variation in track. So makes the league slightly bigger. So we'll look forward to it.
And of course, the one that opens it is the Ben Fun Bonanza, Sunday the 18th of March, the start officially of the British Speedway season, the start of the showground season, and what a lineup that's coming together for that one.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive meeting. We said that's what we wanted. We wanted a big opener, and I think we're going to get that. Obviously current world champion Jason in there, so it looks like it's going to be a huge event for us.
It does indeed, a real kickstart to the Peterborough season. An incredible lineup being put together. Just have a look on the BSPA, the Peterborough websites for confirmation of that. Not just the world champion Jason Doyle, but so many more names as well. And of course, most importantly of all, one that should really put bums on seats and therefore money in the pocket for the Ben Fund, such an important charity.
Yeah, it's huge for the lads. Obviously they go out every race and really put their life on the line, and it's when they're injured that they need this sort of funding, and that's why we agreed to do it. That's why a track does it every year. And the last one I went to was Rias, and the crowd was huge. And hopefully, with being at the showground, we know we can fill the place, and that's why we put a lineup together that we have. And hopefully, we can attract sort of 4 or 5, possibly 6,000 people.
Well, Carl, pleasure to talk to you. Best of luck for the 2018 season. And as far as that Peterborough team is concerned, just watch this space.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Peter Schroeck for the Rye House Rockets is next in line, and Peter, I'm very happy in the current setting here out in the yard and the furnishings around you.
We do like to set a presence, so and that's what I think that's what we're doing.
Now, we were talking to Carl Johnson earlier about the roller coaster ride that was the Peterborough Panthers 2017. I think it's also fair to say that was the same for the Rockets, their elevation to the top flight, and what an experience that year number 1 was.
It was. I mean, it was when we suddenly went into the top flight, it was a big step, because of where our Rye House has been in the past. But I think we've achieved the feel-good factor now at Rye House, and we had a great season. So really pleased.
You talk about that feel-good factor and the crowds that came out to support you, not just the opening night, but throughout the season there. It really was the building of a huge bond between the club and the public.
It was. I mean, that's always our aim, at BMR. That's what we're trying to achieve, with whatever we do in the sport. It's not just Speedway, obviously we do other things. And, so we brought those into Speedway. And it's working. So, we don't sit still, we just keep working it all the time. And I think we've achieved a good thing now.
It wasn't just the Rockets' first year in the top flight, it was your own first year in a team management role. How did you find that transition to the big time?
It was, it's a big step because, there's a lot more pressure. Well, there is pressure on you because, people expect the first year to have results. And, for me, it was very important to build a good relationship with all the riders, which I think I've achieved. And that is one of the reasons why, 95% of the riders are coming back, and we wanted to carry on with what we had. So, it was awesome, it's to be in the top flight with some of my mates, like in Middleditch, Alan Rossiter, we all grown up together, sort of thing, racing Speedway. And so it's a privilege to work with those guys and a privilege to work with the riders what we had. So, really pleased.
The Rockets finished with such momentum at the tail end of the year. The big if, the what if the Rockets had made the playoffs, just that extra little nudge past Poole into the playoffs, what do you think would have happened?
It was, at the end it was taken a little bit out of our hands. So, what happened at King's Lynn and, with Poole and one way or another. So, but we've done all the hard work right up to the end of the playoffs. So, like I said, it was taken out of our hands and we lost out by a couple of points, which is nothing really. So that's why, this year we want to go down the same route again, work with what we had, because I feel like we've got unfinished business.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the team you put together, maybe some word association, but your thoughts on the key components of the side, and we'll start with Chris Bomber-Harris and also due here later on today, Scotty Nichols.
Yeah, I mean those two. If you can really build with those two. I mean they got the experience. They're easy to work with, and they're absolutely awesome with the youngsters. So with the youngsters we've got Robbo. We've got heaps of experience in the team, and you can't really buy that with money. Sort of thing is and they all want to come here and be with us. So, I'm a very lucky man to have those guys on my side.
You are indeed. You mentioned Robbo, 25 years now in the sport. What does he like to have back again?
As long as I keep him a nice cup of tea, he's always happy. No, Robbo is awesome. Robbo, you can send him out in any situation and he'll give you 150%. And it's the same with all the others. We've got Edward back, which we're really pleased for. We all know what he can do around Rye House. And this year we're not having the pressure of being at number one. It might have been a little bit overwhelming for him last year, and unfortunately in this league it's such cutthroat. We had to make the changes, and it was hard. It was tough to do. But we still shook hands, and we're all happy, and he's back. So we could be over the moon.
Okay, two more names for you then, both due here today: Ben Barker and Max Clegg.
Well, Ben is like Marmite. Some people love him, some people don't like him. We absolutely adore him. He's great to be in the pits. He's a firecracker. He's the same thing. You can send him out in situations where you can't send many people out. And if I say to him, "This has got to be done," he will try 150% to do it. And people should respect him for that. And we absolutely love him down at Rye House, and that's why he's back. And the same with young Max Clegg. He's sort of been dealt a little bit of a tough card this year because he was supposed to be at Lakeside as well, but unfortunately, that didn't work out. But on the other hand, he's signed for Stoke, so he will be riding a lot. And with the right sort of guidance, the boy can do a lot of damage. We've seen that what he done for Wolverhampton. So he's going to be an important part in our team.
And the last piece of the jigsaw, the last rider to be named, in fact, the one you coined as the missing link of the team, Christoph Kaspiak.
Yeah, Christoph, he's a class act. It's like I said before, last year when he come to us, he wanted to come to Rye House. He lives locally when he's over here, lives over in Hitchin, which suits him fine. He's got his workshop down with us at the track, so everything falls into place. And this year he's going to be an absolute super fit. Well, a lot of people didn't realise when he actually came to us, he was riding with a broken collarbone. And when you see what he done in Poole, and lots of places where we went, and he's a class act in himself. He wants to get back into Grand Prix. Still, don't forget, he's only in his 30s. There's a lot of people, like Craig Hancock. I bet you if we could get him in, nobody would think, oh, he's 46 years old. We've got a young man here which is very ambitious, and I think we're going to get the best out of him this year.
And the Rye House season, what a way it's going to start the Easter weekend, away and then home against defending league champions Swindon in the Knockout Cup. That really is an exciting way to start.
It is, because our aim is to do exactly to Swindon what we've done to them at the end of the season. It's we give them a little hide-in, and that's what we tend to do again. So I'm really looking forward to that, and there's nothing better than testing yourself against the champions. They obviously had to make changes themselves to their team, and which hopefully is in our favour, because we're going down there with the same team what we had at the end.
Okay, and just to pull it all together as a wrap round, and maybe we can just sort of pan across the audience. We've sort of gathered around here for this interview. We've got a whole mixture of different ages. We've got the veterans of the sport, we've got the youngsters, we've got the kids as well. This is what the Celebration of Speedway is all about. It's all about not just, as we said earlier, celebrating the past of the sport, the history, although that is very, very important, but it's also about the present and driving on to the future and making sure there is a future for Speedway in this country.
That's correct. I mean, we all love the present. We all love the past, because we all talk about it, and You know, is that's what made Speedway what it is now. But we have to live in the present time, so we have to make changes. Even sometimes, you know, we don't like it as a human being. But I think, you know, we try our best at Right House what we do. You know, we've invested a lot of money in the stadium. We've done a lot of work. You know, Stevie's doing a great job down there. So let's get behind Bright House and make sure that we're going to win the league this year.
Okay, best of luck, Peter. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Well, this next moment is one I've been absolutely thrilled to be looking forward to ever since it was first announced, and that's the cutting of the tape for the new Ivan Mauger exhibit here in the National Speedway Museum. To do the honours, I would like to welcome Mr. Peter Oakes, of course, long-time Speedway journalist, and of course such a long time associate with Ivan as well. Peter, just before you do the honours for us here, can you tell us the background to exactly how these exhibits were acquired or borrowed from the Mauger family, and indeed what we've got on show here?
Yeah, the main things which have been donated to the museum by, you know, the Mauger, as you say, the Mauger family, which is Ray, Ivan's wife, the children, Julie, who's the eldest, Debbie and Kim, are on the left here we've got the black leathers, which were in fact the leathers that he wore to win the world final between 68 and 72. The ones on the right are those that he won his later world finals. One of the stories behind the black ones is that he actually used to wear these rather than coloured leathers for a world final because A, they were terribly comfortable, but B, he also felt that rivals wouldn't know that it was him. That if he was behind, he wanted to be in a situation where they didn't know that it was Ivan Mauger behind the person. So he wore the black leathers because that's what the Russians and the Poles all wore. So it would take them a little bit off their guard. He had a great superstition about them. And I say they would come out every year, but only for the world finals, when he won. Well, all of the 6 world finals were those 2 pair of leathers. The other particular, important item that has been loaned to us is I don't know if you can all see the trophy down here, this big porcelain trophy, which came from the 1970 world final in Poland. That was when he became the only rider who has ever won 3 world titles in a row. The family, they all really wanted to keep that, because they kept a lot of his personal possessions, but they decided they couldn't work out a way that each of them could have it. Only Julie could have it, or Debbie could have it, or Kim could have it. So they turned round and they said that what Ivan would have wanted was for it to go on display and to be open and available for the public, the fans. That he spent a lot of his time in England. He came over for the second time in '63. That he stayed there until he retired. He loved England. He loved living in England. And he had a great, even though a lot of you may not have realised it, he did have a great affection for British fans because they gave him so much, they supported him over the years, and he absolutely loved his time here. Also, I don't know whether he's here at the moment. Is Jim Hone here? Yeah, that Jim, who is Steve's father, that Jim was in fact probably the longest standing friend of Ivan's. That there is in this country, because Ivan and Ray, when they first came over in the 50s at Wimbledon, actually stayed with the Hone family. So it's nice to have Jim and Steve here as well to see this. Also, that later on, a gentleman called Brian Connolly will be talking about, he's launching a campaign to have Ivan's memory honoured. And Ivan used to live in a road called Chester Road up in Bramall in Cheshire. They're now building a new housing estate opposite, and Brian is leading a campaign to have a road, either Mauger Avenue, Mauger Road, Mauger Close or whatever, named after him. So I know that Brian has some leaflets, so if any of you can collect and help in the campaign, it would be appreciated.
Okay, thank you, Peter. You have the scissors. Time to do the honours.
All the best, Sprouts.
There we go. A celebration of the greatest Speedway rider of all time, and that really is an appropriate tag to give to the 6-time world champion, Ivan Mauger. Right, well, they say that the sun always shines on the righteous, and that is indeed the case here. Nice warm weather. I may dispense with the jacket in a moment. We're currently just outside the marquee, easy to spot here, and I'm delighted to welcome Mr. Brian Connolly to join me on the mic here. Not sure if you picked us up when we were in the Speedway Museum a few moments ago, but Peter Oakes was talking about a certain campaign. If you couldn't hear it, or certainly to add a lot of detail to us, I'm delighted to welcome Brian here to, we'll call it the stage here, to talk about a very important campaign for the greatest Speedway rider of all time, Ivan Mauger. Brian.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you for the opportunity of telling everyone about the campaign. I was born and grew up very near where Ivan Mauger lived in Manchester, and Ivan won the first race I ever saw in September 1968. Just a few weeks after he won the World Championship for the first time. Ivan lived just across the road from the very famous aircraft factory in Woodford, Cheshire, and it's been closed and sold for redevelopment. I thought it would be a good idea to have a road named after Ivan to commemorate both his life achievements and his time in Woodford. I contacted developers. They in turn referred me to the local council. I wrote to the council and they responded very promptly, but told me it was a request they couldn't consider because Ivan was still alive. In fact, they wouldn't consider it for anyone alive. And not only that, but they would only consider it when someone had been dead for 30 years. I thought this was unacceptable and decided to do something about it. So what I've done, and I've done this in conjunction with Peter Oakes and Ivan's youngest daughter Debbie, is set up a campaign website so that people can log on, they can sign the petition, and they can also copy and paste a template email to send to the Stockport councillors. All the councillors' names and email addresses are on the website, and I hope that the Speedway fraternity and beyond will join in the campaign and fill the councillors' inboxes with emails asking them to commemorate the achievements of a very special individual who they should be very proud lived in their area. The website's gone live this weekend. I'm currently launching it. I've got some leaflets which have got the details on.
And the website address is?
www.majorcampaign.co.uk. It's on. It should all be self-explanatory. Further material will be added, and I'd be very pleased if people could communicate with the website, send their experiences, photographs, anything they want to say, and for it to be a form of celebration and appreciation of Ivan's life. So I'll be very, very pleased if that could happen, and I'm hoping that when we've got to an appropriate critical mass to present the petition to the council to try and get them to change their minds.
And what sort of timescale do you think you have for that, or when do you need to really do something?
I'm thinking really about anything between 3 and 6 months. The building site itself will take years to complete. So we've got time on our hands, I think.
Well, for those who are here at the show today, leaflets can be collected. Brian's standing just to my right out here, just next to the AstroTurf here. But again, if you're watching on the Speedway portal, what was that website again?
www.majorcampaign.co.uk.
Okay, Brian, best of luck.
Thank you, Craig.
Well, the White Link Warriors are back with us here at the Celebration of Speedway for a 3rd year running. Delighted to be joined by Barry Bishop of the Isle of Wight Speedway Club, and 3 years running, obviously gaining from the experience and very much enjoying it.
Yeah, very much so. It's great to be here. There's a lot of interest in our club and the things that we're doing, so it's really nice to interact with people that might not come across the island but see the feedback via the social media and our websites.
And the exciting thing about it is officially, unofficially, this is where the season starts.
Yeah, this is where the season starts, and we see everybody, some of the same old faces and new faces every year. It's not just a show, it's a social event.
Well, let's talk about the Warriors and maybe a little bit about the Islanders as well. The situation, obviously 2017, difficult year on track, and dare I say that with the loss of Harlan Cook pre-season and then Nathan Greaves so soon into the new campaign, you never really got it off the ground.
No, that's right. It was an unfortunate start for us. We were really disappointed to lose Harlan, and then when Nathan went to Ipswich, that hurt us as well. We didn't really recover. But you know, it is what it is, and you have to do the best that you can with the riders that are available. And everybody that rode for us really, tried their best and did their best for us. And as the season progressed, we seemed to get more and more into it and got some late wins. But unfortunately, we finished the wrong end of the table. However, off the track, we were extremely successful with everything that we started to do. So that's more important in the big scheme of Speedway for me. It's, of course, I want to win the league every year, but having a sustainable business at the end of it is what we want.
That is the key thing, and the resurgence of Isle of Wight as a club so important to keep things going. Come the 2018 season, obviously new look side, and one that's going to be fronted by Ben Morley, and hopefully one that's going to move in the right direction in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very happy with our team this year. We've kept some of the riders from last season, brought in some new riders, of course, and also provided opportunities via the Wizards for those that come through the school. So it's exciting times for us on the Isle of Wight, and just can't wait for it to start.
Yeah, I know I erroneously refer to them as the Islanders rather than the Wizards, but you take a look at that side as well, and a lot of publicity going on the Isle of Wight website these last few weeks about the makeup of that team. The likes of Finn Peacey add a real local component to it, and getting that local bond with the community via the riders, via the fans is absolutely critical to you.
Well, it's, my first skid school that we have there has been amazingly successful. It sells out every time we run them, and I wanted to have progress for all the riders. So we worked with the SDL coordinators and asked for an extension to the squad. So we've got 8 in our squad to enable us to have 4 Islanders who've come through the school and 4 mainlanders but have attended regularly through My First Skid. So if you want to ride for the Wizards at any point, you either need to live on the Isle of Wight or you need to attend My First Skid Speedway School.
The other way you can ride at the Smallbrook Stadium, the Andriani Stadium, is obviously if you're a young lion as well, and you had Neil Vatcher and the young lions very, very recently. How did that go?
Yeah, it was really good. Of course, the weather, as usual, wasn't on our side, which is unfortunate for February weather. But our track team were amazing. They pulled out every stop possible, and we managed to get them on track both Tuesday and Thursday. Full day on Thursday and 3/4 of a day on Tuesday. And then we did media with them, diet, fitness, how to present yourself to sponsors on the Wednesday. It was another great success.
Okay, and if we're talking to supporters who may or may not have been to the Isle of Wight to watch the Speedway, I'm sure there are still some people out there who think it's too difficult to get to. I've got to cross the water, but it's not difficult at all. Just how do you go through it?
Well, I don't live on the Isle of Wight. I live in just outside Oxford, and Martin, my co-promoter, lives in Leicester, so we do it every week, week in, week out. It's really simple. You can go to our website and you'll be linked directly to our main team sponsors White Link webpage. You'll have a 20% discount. You literally drive on the ferry, drive off, and we're 5 minutes on the other side. It's easy to do. If you want to go to foot passenger, there are catamaran service as well, which takes some 20 minutes.
Okay, can't go wrong there. Always a pleasure to talk to you, Barry. Best of luck for the season.
Thanks very much.
Okay, with me now, Peter Tarrant. Peter, 90 years of Speedway, and you played quite a good part of these years.
Yeah, late 70s, early 80s, and I wouldn't swap it, wouldn't go back on it.
When you look back over it, the way it's changed, the way it's portrayed now, if you could change anything, what would you change?
Looking at it the way they race now, I'd limit the bikes, definitely. It's actually frightening. You can't tell me that they're in control of the bike for laps all the time. apart from that, go back to the old 13 heats. Definitely in the second half, because there's no one coming through as they used to. The second half always used to bring riders, young riders through. They don't, so.
Now you're looking around here, there's obviously lots of old colleagues who used to race with, but anyone in particular sticks out in mind?
Barney. Always Barney. Barney's a good friend as well, so it's nice to see everyone. And a few of the Rye House riders were here last year. I haven't seen them yet this year, but some of the junior riders from Rye House when I was riding, they're coming today. And I used to do junior grass track with them, so I'm looking forward to sharing a pint with them. Really.
It seems a long time ago when you started down at Arlington, from what I can remember, and you moved on to Rye House. I mean, the rocket's still going, but now in the top flight.
Yeah, it's completely changed, different setup. Len Silver was running it for years and years and years, and BMR are running it now, and they'll get it. They have the basis of a good team this year. Really good team.
Looking at the teams here, I mean, have you got any favourite you still have a little race for?
No, I still follow Rye House. Still follow Rye House, and I still follow Bellevue. So I've been up to Bellevue once. So and the track up, the new track up there is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic stadium.
Do you feel because a lot of the stadiums aren't actually owned by the people who run the speedways, holds it back?
Yeah, definitely. If you look at the Polish stadiums, where they are, most of them are dedicated speedway stadiums, it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. The crowds they get, and from what I hear, they don't charge too much entry fee. Like, it's quite expensive now. To take a family to a speedway meeting now, it's quite expensive.
So we're looking around here, lots of old riders, lots of old friends and whatever, and lots of old machines. Anyone in particular you'd like to sit on and have a go?
Well, I actually bought myself a bike last year, one of the new laydowns, and they're quite scary, so 2-valve Java would do me. Not quite as fast.
And finally, a golden memory of when you were racing, what's the highlight?
Knockout cut with Rye House and winning the league with Rye House. Definitely, those 2 years.
Doesn't get much better than that, does it?
No, they were good times.
Brilliant. Look, always a pleasure to see you, matey, and great to see you around.
Good to see you. Thanks, Jack.
Okay, with me now, former world number 2, Gordon Kennett. Gordon, you had a fantastic career in the world of Speedway. Come here today, can you believe it's 90 years old?
Yeah, I feel 90 years old today. Seeing all the old riders I used to race against. It was a great day though. It seems so, it's gone so quick. But it's nice to get a reunion with all the old riders, see some of the old classic bikes. Yeah, it's a great day.
Talking of the classic bikes, I mean, is there any of your old ones here?
No, I haven't seen one, but I did have a ride last year in the old Vets racing, so I'm hoping to have another go this year. I just like getting out on the bike sometimes. I really enjoy it.
What was it like getting back on the machine after all these years down at Leeds?
It's like riding a push bike, really. You never really forget it. It soon comes back again. I enjoy riding. Yeah, I really enjoy it. No, you don't forget it. But like playing golf, I think you never forget that either.
And you're trying to get a new bike, I noticed now.
Yeah, I have. I've built another one up for this year, and I'm on the second one now. But I don't know. I just go out and have a practice. I enjoy practice, and it's under no pressure either. It's just for fun, really.
So you're looking around here, like you say, I mean, you've had some great memories putting a world number 2 riding at Wembley. There's a lot of people who would love to be able to say that. But when you look at here now, how do you think the sport's actually changed?
I think personally it's gone backwards because the racing, you don't see so much passing. The tracks have got very slick now, where the old days you had lots of people pass. But now it seems like the first one out the gate, the first one wins. So no, I don't think it's as good as it used to be back in the 70s and 80s. I wouldn't have changed any of my earlier life. I think we had the best days. It's a shame really, because Speedway is a good sport to watch, and it's a good family sport as well.
What do you think they can do to actually get the people back through the turnstiles?
I don't know, you've got to try something, because job to say, because racing, everybody's got the same machines, so you don't get so much passing like you used to in the old days. Riders come from the back. it was entertaining to watch. But now there's not so much passing, so it's mostly from the start. It's a shame really, but I don't know which most sports are suffering at the moment. You know, they get so much sport on the computers now, internet, so I don't know, it's tough.
You're still keeping an eye on how Eddie's doing?
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on Eddie. Eddie helps me when he can. Well, I'll do the old vets meet the mechanics for me, and I'll borrow his old levers. Yeah, I really enjoy that. Yeah, he's a good boy, isn't he? Yeah. I think he's riding for the right house this year, but I think he could have gone a lot further with his riding. He's a good rider, but he just needs that one more step up to get to the top, I think. But who knows?
It's always a pleasure to see you, lady. Look after yourself and keep it going.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Good man.
Former Rye House Rocket Martin Goodwin. 90 years of this great sport, Martin. Can you believe it?
No, I don't know where the time's gone. It soon catches up with you, doesn't it? And well, for 90 years, it just goes to show what a good sort of family sport it is. You know, to keep people interested over that amount of time, isn't it? Really.
Lots of changes, of course, in that sport. I mean, what have been some of the major ones since your day when you were roaring around Rye House?
Well, I mean, obviously the introduction of the safety fence, the air fence, has been, you know, a good idea. One of the other rules that was changed when I was riding was no touching the tapes. And I always believed that was, you know, a bit strange having to sit still on the start line when you sort of wanted to push and, like, you know, and get all the other three riders agitated. So you're trying to create an advantage for yourself. But it's good fun, but I mean, it's changed and that's it. So some of the things they've changed are really good, some of the worse really. You know, it's just the people who are involved in it.
Sure, I mean, do you get the chance to get to Rye House or anywhere else to watch a bit?
Well, I do try and get there sometimes, but I play too much golf now, I don't get a lot of time. And to be honest with you, a lot of time taken up with my grandchildren, so you know, that takes up a lot of time. And the wife has me decorating. Don't get an awful lot of time.
Yeah, I see one of your old bikes is in the Speedway Museum, isn't it? You still get that inkling when you walk past it?
Well, I didn't know it was there. Someone told me it was there, but I'm not sure if it's mine or not. It's all changed, but I can't remember what happened to my bike, to be honest with you. I know I sort of got passed them on and sold them, but I can't remember who I bought them. The only thing I've kept from my racing days is my toolbox. And that's it. And I never use them.
Yeah, go back to your racing days a bit. I mean, the highlights, favourite memories.
See you here. Are you enjoying the celebration?
Well, it's
yes, you know, it's
nice to win the Grand Slam.
I'm quite surprised.
It's always nice
how many people are actually here.
Actually win in a team event away from home. you know, added bonus. And to win a few individual meetings, and I've just enjoyed racing and meeting different people.
One I know you're really looking forward to.
You know, like I've said earlier, it's such a big family oriented thing. Turn up here today, you haven't seen people for years, and you can talk about so much stuff, and everything comes flooding back. And it's just great to be in that position.
I mean, talking of family-orientated sport, I mean, what do you think they can do to get more people through the gates? Because obviously it's been struggling a bit in the, in the years perhaps since you gave up. And, what's the answer to get more people through and getting involved?
It's quite, as far as I know, it's quite expensive to go.
Yes, we have.
The TVs and everything, they have the opportunity to start at home and watch it. Unbelievable, right, and walk their own up. But it doesn't take away the excitement of actually being there, the smell of the capital bar and everything like that. But I don't know, I mean, the Grand Prix always seem really exciting. I would watch the Grand Prix. I don't watch the league TV, so I do find them non-interesting. I don't know what to do. Bigger track, dirt on the track to create more overtaking.
We have got a good mile, and I think it's anybody's on the day.
Catch 22 situation, what do you actually
Speedway racing itself, so what sort of things you got planned? We've got
to make it interesting
to play in.
Make them feel that when they leave that stadium, they've been entertained. So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Watching you guys in the 80s, entertainment was the key. But I guess it's getting younger and making it stick.
Find out. I know. If you look back on your career, obviously,
still
associated with the best Tigers there. You look at the sort of highlights of your career, and I guess the Speedway Championship of the 97 meters. There wasn't
generation.
Over the years,
I used to enjoy it when I first started playing before. We had the bar at the arena, just carriage, train carriage, and it was always freezing cold at the arena. You stand out there, drink, and it was just part of the social. Never got any time to actually socialise with the supporters, spend time with them. It's a sport really, take the weight of it. That's why I would do it. So I would make the effort to take the drink them, enjoy it. First in the car, with the last run out.
It's great fun watching you anyway, Martin. Thanks for joining us. Cheers.
Well, one stand that's eliciting a lot of interest outside here is the Reading Racers stand. Matt Stevens, the team manager for the Racers, is joining me now on the stick. And Matt, we see lots of people behind us here, and everybody delighted to be talking races, both past and present and future.
Yeah, it's good to see everyone here to support the races. So we're back and champions as well. So we're up for it.
Yeah, I take it people are quite happy to talk about the SDL side of things, the future, and hopefully getting the sport back into Reading, as well as reminiscing about the Anders Michnik and other eras.
Well, that's our main thing. Yeah, we've got a lot of history, as everyone knows. So, but the future is the SDL for us at the moment, and obviously we're looking into other options and other leagues and tracks, etc. So there's a lot for us to do.
Well, you're riding at Eastbourne at the moment. The SDL trophy is behind us as well, and both the trophy itself and the fact that it keeps the racer's name alive is just so paramount to you.
Oh, totally. That's what it's all about, is keeping the racer's name going, and the team and everything. Everyone's been fantastic, the riders and fans. Just want to keep it going, really. Keep the races going.
What's the squad you're assembling for 2018?
We've got a squad at the moment. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to tell everyone yet. Can I? Yeah, we've got Dan Gilks riding at number one for the season. We've got Reese Laker, young lad, Carl Roberts, William O'Keefe, Stephen Whitehouse. Who's the other one? I said Reese, yeah. That's it at the moment, yeah.
Okay, but that's the immediate future, but the long-term future is about getting the sport back into the Berkshire town, and we've seen it with other drives. It took forever, but Birmingham came back into action, Leicester came back into action, even Rye House came back into action. There really is a dream to force through here.
Oh, totally, it's a dream. Hopefully it will come to reality. We're not doing it just for riding at Eastbourne every season. We want our own track, and that's our dream. And hopefully we'll get there. Yeah.
Well, the best of luck for that. Good luck for 2018 as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, we're over on the Lakeside Hammers area of the exhibit as well. Mark Paxton, the Community Liaison Officer, and perhaps better known to the public, Ben Morley, very much a Lakeside Hammer in 2018. Join us now. And Mark, we start with you in your community role. A first official time here for the Hammers, certainly in recent history here at the Celebration of Speedway. Enjoying it so far?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. We haven't been before, I don't know really why, but it's important for us to let our fans know that we care enough to be here, and we're having a fantastic time meeting, the fans from around the area, especially our fans.
For sure, and of course it is an exciting 2018 to look forward to. A step back into the top two divisions with a team in the SGB Championship, and one I know you're really excited about and looking forward to.
It is a fantastic team. I think we've been very lucky to get the riders on board so soon. Gave our fans that security of knowing that we had a fantastic top two, bottom two, middle three. So we're very happy with the team we put together, and can't wait for the 30th of March against Ipswich.
Yeah, I know doing the sums there on hands and fingers was Ben Morley. There's no way he sat in that ranking there. But you talk about the top two. I mean, Nick Morris, League Gliders champion, and Richard Lawson, awesome Richard Lawson, who certainly knows his way around this circuit for the last few years. What a top two to have there.
I think it's the best top two in the championship. We'll wait to be proved otherwise, but we're very, very fortunate to have acquired Nick from Swindon. And as you said, Richard knows his way around Lakeside, and he feels like he's one of ours. He wanted to come and ride for us, and we're delighted to have him.
And hidden in the engine room is the shrimpster Ben Morley. Good to have him back.
Outstanding. I mean, part of our business model is to have local riders riding for us, and with Ben and Alfie Hotel, as it turns out now, we've got two of those that tick that box, and I think that gives our fans people to really engage with, and Ben's just brilliant down Lakeside. 8 or 9 points, we think.
We think so. Do you agree, Ben?
20 quid in a bit.
Do you agree? 8 or 9 pointer?
Yeah, well, I mean, the more points the better.
For sure, and you are the local guy alongside Alfie Bow in the side, and I know that brings you so much closer to the public and the fans.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I rode with Alfie last year, so we're good mates and that. So, and to be fair, the whole team sort of, we all know each other around and that. So, yeah, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, just how high do you think the Hammers can fly?
High as we can go.
High as we can go. Just coming back to you as well. Now, Mark, here, you mentioned home opener against Ipswich, obviously in terms of team competition. Before that, you've got the Rico Spring Classic, and of course, those associated with Lakeside, those associated with the sport as a whole, know what such a sad loss that was a few years ago there, and just so important to keep the memory of Lee Richardson alive and to celebrate his life in this way.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Lee was, I had to think, a slightly reluctant hammer to start with when he first came, because he'd never made any bones that he didn't really like the track, but he embraced it as the true professional he was. He is a massive miss to Lakeside. We miss him every day, from the top of the club to the bottom, and we will continue to remember him in the best way that we can.
And it will be an opportunity that night to see the Hammers, maybe not as a team, but all the individuals there for the first time, but also a fair sprinkling of stars from around the league as well to celebrate him.
We hope to have riders that really want to celebrate Lee's life with us. There are 1 or 2 other competing meetings on that day, which hasn't given us the full range of opportunities for riders, but we will undoubtedly put on a very attractive meeting, and we expect people to turn up in their thousands.
Yeah, and even beyond that particular opener, those first couple of home team matches, you've got Ipswich, as you say, Peterborough coming the week after that. We talk about local derbies. What an exciting way to welcome the Hammers back into the big time.
Yeah, I mean, the Championship Shield with Ipswich and Peterborough
it is a fantastic way. It's going to get the three clubs rivalry really stoked up early in the season. We then ride the two clubs later in the Championship League, and I think that rivalry will continue all season long between the three clubs, and can only be good for all three clubs and tracks, I think.
Well, best of luck, Mark and Ben. Great to see you back at Lakeside. All the best.
Thanks, guys.
Well, we're back up here on the stage next to the Daily Mail National Speedway Trophy. Some members of the WSRA committee would argue that my next guest should belong in a museum alongside said trophy, but we disagree. He's very much alive and kicking, and he's in costume, in character. Bert Harkins is now on the stick with me here, and Bert, of course, here today signing your new autobiography. How are things going so far?
Yeah, Craig, it's been going very well actually. As I say, the autobiography, I've written it all myself, but the photographs are all in English, so you can understand them if you don't understand me. Yeah.
My Crazy World of Speedway is what it's called, and you've been at pains to stress that every single word written by yourself, so it really is a true labour of love, but no ghostwriting whatsoever in there. Just how long did it take to piece together?
It's been working on it all summer, probably about 4 months, I think, you know, so towards the end I had to really speed up to get the deadline, so when I look at the book I'm quite interested to see what I've written before.
I was going to say, what was the writing process? Do you write the? Do you do it in chronological order? Do you write the main bits and then write around them, or how did you approach it?
No, publisher Peter Lush writing to do it in the chronological order. So basically, it starts from my early days in Glasgow and Cycle Speedway, road racing, and how it took me 10 years to be an overnight success in Speedway. So it's quite detailed, actually.
Now you, it is said, originally wanted to be a fireman, a speedway rider, and a cowboy. And in various little ways, you managed to do all three to varying degrees. Because I understand, firstly, you were born in a fire station.
I was indeed in Glasgow. I was born in Goodwin fire station. So my dad was a fireman. So I grew up alongside with fire engines and things like that. So it was an exciting time for a little boy. And I also got me involved with Speedway because we were within earshot of Glasgow Tigers at Wight City. So my dad used to take me along to Wight City on a Wednesday evening, and after that I wanted to be a Speedway rider. And I'm still trying.
The thing that really brought you in, or the thing that helped segue your way in was your involvement in Cycle Speedway. Nowadays it's all about moving in from motocross, but then it was coming in via the non-motorised bikes.
That's true. I mean, there was a list in the Speedway Museum of the number of riders who came from Cycle Speedway into Speedway, and there's quite a considerable amount. Colin Pratt, Pete Saunders, there's a lot of riders came up with the pedal pushing days and into the motorcycle sport. So it was a good training, a good grinding.
And once you got riding, and I know people might think, oh, the various tracks around Scotland and Berwick came along a little bit later on, but for a Scottish rider or a Scottish wannabe rider, it actually wasn't that easy to get rides. It was basically a case of have bike, you got to travel.
Yeah, indeed, there was nothing at all in Scotland, just one track at Edinburgh, and the next year we were in Newcastle, and there were no training schools, so it took a long time just to try and get the rides at Edinburgh after the meeting had finished. So you just had to plug away, and if you're determined enough, you could make the grade, hopefully.
Tell me, for those of us with shorter memories, or who maybe weren't around the old Meadowbank, what was it like as a facility and a track?
It was an old stadium, but the track was very good. But I was still learning the sport, so I didn't realise how good the track was until I rode on some of the English tracks, which were pretty rough and bumpy at that time. So all the visitor riders always enjoyed going to Edinburgh because the track was always in such good condition. But I was too young to appreciate that.
And I know I've got to jump around here, otherwise we'll go through all 250 odd pages of the book. But fast forwarding to your stint at Wembley Lions, the Twin Towers, I mean, these are days long gone, but what was it like to be a part of the last run for the Lions?
It was fantastic. Wembley was a great stadium for Speedway. And the name Wembley always conjured up very good sponsorship from outside companies. And I always think that British Speedway should have made an effort to keep Wembley Speedway alive, because it benefited not only Wembley, but when the team went to away tracks, it was always a good attraction. And as I say, it brought in a lot of non-Speedway people, with David Hamilton, Ed Stewart, and lots of pop stars would come to just to be involved with Wembley.
Yeah, and I know very forthcoming in your book about your views on the loss of the Lions as a regular Speedway venue. Fast forwarding again, as we have to here, we talked about the firemen, we've talked a bit so far about the Speedway. The cowboy stint, I guess, comes with your run as a Bakersfield Bandit. How did you come to run a season in the States?
Well, I've ridden at Costa Mesa a couple of times on my way to Australia, and they always asked me to stay the summer season. I always wanted to go back to right here in Britain. And one year when they were coming up with the League Speedway, they persuaded me to stay for that season. So it was 1976, which was a real hot season in England. And I was in California for that year, but it was very good experience.
And while we're talking international stuff, let's talk about your exploits as a Scot abroad. 4th in the World Pairs, I believe, one year with Jimmy McMillan. And what do you remember of that occasion?
That was very good, because in the qualifying round, the semi-final in Bellevue, nobody gave Scotland a chance against England, Australia, Denmark, but we actually finished second, just 1 point behind New Zealand with Ivan Major and Barry Briggs. And then when we went to Sweden for the final, we were only 1 point behind England, which were the two Booncock brothers. So Scotland was doing very well at that time.
And I know as well you had hopes. You never did make a world final, but you did have a run through, I think, to the IC final, sort of 71-ish, and then a broken collarbone ruined all those hopes.
Yeah, that's correct. I was very close to getting to the final. I broke my collarbone at Wembley on the Saturday, and then rode in the semi-final with the collarbone strapped up. But I just couldn't hold on to the handlebars, so that sort of fell apart.
And just pulling it all together for your crazy world, the headgear does give it away. Bert Harkins, the character, whether we call you Haggis, whether we call you Bertola, was that something that was just naturally inside you, or did it just come as you developed in the sport? Where did your inner self become your outer self?
I don't know, it just evolved as I went along. The Bertola part came from my mother had seen some Spanish sherry in Glasgow, and it was called Bertola Spanish sherry, so that name stuck. And then Haggis, that came automatically when I was riding abroad. So different names, you know, as long as I said the checks correctly, that was fine.
Well, we got the man himself, we got the book himself. Let's hold it up again for the camera here. My crazy world, or my crazy Speedway world here. Haggis, Bertola is here. He's signing copies. He'll take your hard-earned cash, but you'll get his signature and a wonderful read in return. Bert, best of luck with the book.
Thank you very much, and I hope you all enjoy your days. Good weather, good company, and good Speedway. Thank you.
Okay, well, it's time for another interview, and who have we got? We've got Scotty Nicholls, the 7-time British champion and former Grand Prix star. He's over on the Rye House side of the exhibit, and Scott, great to see you here, and I know enjoying the occasion.
Yeah, definitely. It's my first time here, and it's obviously being the 90th anniversary is pretty special. So no, it's good, brilliant to see so many people turning out, and yeah, nice to see a lot of friendly faces.
Well, I had the pleasure of being involved in the WSRA Awards dinner, obviously alongside your wife on the podium there, and of course you were very much a part of that there, and I guess becoming a real part of the WSRA family.
Yeah, it was a great night. It was. You know, I have to be honest, at first I thought it was just for the old people, but it's nice to see the younger people there. It's a brilliant night out, so I definitely recommend people coming along to that for this year. I keep saying next year, but this year. And no, it was brilliant, great to be part of it, and obviously really nice with Pete Sampson from here the Paradise Wildlife Park being so involved with that, and also with Rye House. I think it's great to have the museum here, and also for those Speedway fans who've got the family, they can have a great day out around the wildlife park too.
Of course, 2017 for you was such a momentous year. I know you came into it, well, initially off a rather disappointing year at Bellevue, and there were question marks in your head as to just how long your career was going to last. Were there really serious thoughts of retirement ahead of 2017, or was it just a question of maybe one more year and then, we'll give it a quit?
I was definitely, during 2017, was really questioning, how much longer I wanted to carry on. It was, I still knew I had the ability, but I just really struggled at the Bellevue track just to try and find a setup that worked. And, obviously I had kind of hindsight, I could see that I had mechanical problems as well, which has a knock-on effect. It dents your confidence, but then I kind of look, when I go away from home, I think my away average was probably 6th or 7th in the league, so I knew that it wasn't me. I knew I had sort of bike problems, so I took comfort from that in some ways, but it definitely did question, whether I wanted to carry on, because it's, it's not just the race, it's a long drive home, and then when you get home, it's, your family end up taking the brunt of your frustration as well, and the financial aspect too. So I definitely needed a fresh challenge for 2017, and Rye House ticked all the boxes. It was, it sounds a bit odd, but it was a track I'd only ever ridden on once in my life, so that's what kind of excited me, that I knew that it was going to be a challenge in one respect, but it was something I was looking forward to, and I wanted something to kind of to spur me on again. I've been riding for quite a few years, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a brilliant year there, really enjoyed it, which is why I'm back again for 2018, and just such a shame we didn't go on to make the playoffs. I think had we have done that, I firmly believe we could have gone on to win, but nonetheless it was a fantastic first season for them in the top flight, and looking forward to this year.
And it certainly finished with two personal highs, with the Rider of the Year award from the club, and also that very special award of Achievement Award in the Houses of Parliament. What did those two mean to you?
Oh, well, Rider of the Year at Rye House was brilliant. I mean, because I genuinely didn't expect that. It was one of those things that, it was a real team effort, and I think, any one of the Rockets would have deserved that award. So for me to get that was really nice, and, and the award, outstanding contribution to Speedway at the House of Parliament, I was very honoured to get that, and it's something that would be very special, but right now it feels like a bit of a backhanded compliment, but I think people know what I'm on about there.
Yeah, I think we do. We'll come back to that in just a moment. 2018 positive stuff back at Rye, as you say there, and virtually back alongside the same team as well, a team that finished the year with just so much momentum behind them, and that's got to give them an immediate gel heading into this new season.
Certainly will. I think that's why, we were a huge threat. If we hadn't made the playoffs, I think we had the momentum on our side. So, like you say, it's not too many changes to the team this year. Got a great bunch of British riders in there as well, and I think Eddie coming back in, it's not like it's an unfamiliar face. He'll slot right back in, and it's one of those things you kind of have to try and look at the positives. And I think for Eddie it was a negative, and obviously it was a big blow for him to be dropped. But I certainly believe that's only going to be a positive for this season. I think it will kind of inspire him to sort of dig in, and he'll have a point to prove. So I think that can only benefit him personally, but also the club as well.
Well, Eddie may be a semi-new face. The totally new face, we're delighted to see him here on the stand, is Max Clegg, coming all the way down from Yorkshire to be with us here today. And we talk about bright young British talent, and that NLRC crown, that British Under-19 crown, really shows 2017 may have been a difficult one for him, but he's heading in the right direction.
Certainly is. I think it's one of those things where a lot can be said about the people you're around, and I think we know he's got the talent to do it, and I think it's one of those things, just building someone's confidence up. And I think he's around, it's not just familiar faces and British riders. I think myself and Bomber and Robbo, we've both been around quite a while, and we can sort of share our experiences, the mistakes we've made to help him not make the same ones. So I think it'll be a great move for him. I think being around us will certainly spur him on, and the management, the whole thing. I mean, it's not just the individual riders. The whole sort of package is fantastic at Rye House, and I think that will certainly be a positive for Max.
Well, the elephant in the room, the backhanded compliment as you referred to it there, is obviously the situation with regard to a doubling up position there. We obviously can't talk at the moment about that, but my understanding is that things are, let's say, close to resolution.
I certainly hope so. It's kind of been a long, frustrating winter, to say the least. It's kind of been very much a yo-yo up and down affair, but hopefully things are getting closer to a positive outcome. I really hope so. It has to be. I think it would be a massive shame if it didn't. But I can't really say too much. I'm just hopeful that things will swing round the way they probably should have been right from the start.
The important thing is that riders and British riders we're thinking of here do get enough exposure. They get that full racing calendar, and if you're only riding in one league, not riding abroad, that just isn't there. You've got to have at least 2 leagues, whether it's domestic or elsewhere.
That's it, and I'd made the decision over the winter to stop the foreign stuff. I kind of just wanted to firmly focus on the UK. You know, for my income, at the end of the day, it is my living. It's what we do, and you know, I've kind of been around a while. I've been travelling enough. I've had enough of being up at 3 o'clock in the morning, travelling to the airports all the time. You know, I want to sort of enjoy my last few years racing and spend some more time with the family. So I'd made a decision to double up, to then have that slapped in my face in November. So I've been working hard to try and find a kind of resolution to that. I've been trying to do things down the right channels, and you know, fingers crossed, things will be sorted out.
Yeah, and just looking beyond the immediate season, we don't want to see you into retirement anytime soon here, but you know, as you look beyond that, we've seen your work on television in a sort of in a punditry role there. You certainly have potential as a true ambassador of the sport. Where would you like to see yourself going once you do rest yourself in the saddle?
Certainly not a promoter, that's one thing for sure, but I don't know. I'm really enjoying the TV stuff. If there's an avenue to pursue, then I'll certainly take it. I'll kind of, you know, right now I've just dipped my toe in a few different pies and see. I mean, you know, I think it's fair to say, like, you know, that was what was so special with the WSRA, that, you know, you see so many riders from years back that still have a love for the sport and still have an involvement. So, you know, I'd love to think that, you know, when I do decide to hang the boots up, I'll still have an involvement in some aspect and have an interest in the sport still, because it's been a massive part of my life. So we'll just see. You know, I'm one of those people that will just enjoy the ride while it's there, so I'll enjoy the TV stuff all the while it's there for me, and the same with the racing.
And Scotty, just before we let you go, and just before we came on air, you were talking and questioning about the raffle we've got going on, £5 a ticket, merciless plug there. You've got a special little goodie you want to include in the raffle as well. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's I kind of get ribbed about the shirts, and it's quite funny, but
what are you wearing today?
A jumper. It's cold. No, it's the company that supplied me with the shirts. It's kind of just one of those kind of spooky coincidences where when I went down to meet them just after Christmas, they were telling me about this special one-off shirt they'd done for wildlife, for a big cat sanctuary. And I kind of just said, oh, I happen to know the guy that's involved with that. So long story, very, very short. I have a shirt here that is a one-off. It's a very limited edition shirt that's been done for the wildlife park, and for every shirt they sell, that the company Claudio Luigi donate £10 to the big cat sanctuary. So I'll be putting that shirt in the raffle, so I think it will stand out pretty clear when you see it on there.
And you will model it for us so we can say as worn by Scott Nichols?
Oh yeah, I'll happily do that, but I'll keep the rest of my clothes on for today.
Okay, we remember that Speedway star picture.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 7-time British champion, former Grand Prix star Scotty Nichols. Hey, we're good to go again here. Gosh, the microphone is sounding loud behind me on the speaker. Mighty Atom John Armstrong joins me now. And John, great to see you here. Are you enjoying the celebration?
Yes, you know, it's the first time I've ever been, and I'm quite surprised, you know, how many people are actually here. It's all good.
Of course, a good opportunity to talk to people as well about, I think, April the 22nd, West Row, the John Armstrong testimonial meeting. Why? As featured immediately behind us. Still going strong, it says here, and one I know you're really looking forward to.
Yeah, obviously, really looking forward to it.
I'm going to move you away from the speaker just a little bit there, so everybody can get a good view of the poster as well. Hopefully we'll get the mic going properly.
Yes, you know, it's taken a lot of hard work, you know, and quite surprised how much work it's taken. You know, I take my hat off to some of these promoters running meetings week in, week out. You know, I'm just doing the one. I know it's a little bit different, but it's a lot of hard work, and yeah, we're looking forward to it, and like I say, we're still going.
I'm guessing you've got a fairly full testimonial committee behind you?
Yes, we have. My main man's here, Troy Dudley. That's the amount of hours he's put in is unbelievable. You know, I can't put enough time into it as it is. You know, I want to put more time in, but I've got to get bikes built. I've got to work. I've got a family. You know, without him, it won't be happening.
And who are some of the guys you've got featuring in the field? I know Luke Bowen is part of the show. He's somewhere behind us. He's part of the lineup.
Yeah, we've got Luke Bowen and Kevin Doolan, Adam Ryan, Steph Nielsen, Ben Morley, Josh Bates,
John Armstrong.
Yeah, myself, Kyle Newman. You know, we have got a good lineup, and I think it's anybody's on the day.
And of course, not just the speedway racing itself, but other parts of the show. What sort of things you got planned?
We've got a couple of live bands playing after the main meeting. A disco after that. We've got the Young Lions down with some 125s and 250s. Sidecar outfit coming down, maybe a couple of sidecar outfits, and I'm hoping to try and get Kevin Jolly on one, but whether he'll do it or not, I don't know.
We'll find out. I know as you look back on your career, an opportune time, and a chunk of it associated with the Fen Tigers there, you look at the sort of highlights of your career, and I guess the League Riders Championship of '97 features in there. What would the sort of 3 or 4 key things to be that you want to take away from the sport?
You know, over the years, I think with the National League, I've won pretty much everything that can be won, which is, you know, I think it's quite a good achievement. You know, we had the 2004 with Mildenhall, we had the clean sweep, and you know, it's just been a roller coaster the whole of my career. It's been great fun.
And of course, it ain't over yet. In fact, you've got a new challenge, part of the Coventry Bees lineup that's going to be racing at Leicester. Those are exciting times, and hopefully another step forward to bringing the sport back to Brandon or the Brandon area.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt, it is a new challenge, and you know, while I'm winning races and I can offer some help for the youngsters and what, I'm just going to keep going as long as my body will let me keep going. But yeah, there is some new challenges now with Coventry. Last time we rode for Coventry was way back, maybe 93ish or something like that. Riding with the likes of Hans Nielsen and Simon Wigg and what have you, so you know, there's a little bit of a connection there.
Well, John, all the best for your life as a bee, and indeed all the very best for April the 22nd.
Thank you very much.
Who's next? Well, he's been signing copies of his autobiography all day. It's titled Tomo Hawk, and here in the marquee right now is the man himself, Barry Thomas, who joins us on the mic. And the first thing I got to say, Barry, I can hold up the sheet of paper. Tomo Hawk sold out, but can be ordered. Leave your email at the desk. An absolutely phenomenal response today.
That's fantastic. You know, we didn't expect that really, and I just hope that anyone that bought the book enjoys it, and thanks very much for buying it.
Yeah, an absolutely incredible response so far, and you know, as we look back on your career, and it's so difficult to know where to start, where to finish or whatever, but just a few things that sort of stand out to me watching from the outside. I think of you as a testimonial man, but a double testimonial recipient. I mean, that is absolutely unique in the sport. That is something that really must have been a huge thrill to celebrate that second testimonial.
Oh yeah, that was a big milestone really, you know, to actually do two. But yeah, I'm worn out now, so I'm paying the consequences.
Yeah, but you look back on your career and so associated with Waterden Road and the Hackney Hawks and later the Hackney Kestrels. Just what was it, if you can sort of bottle it up, what was it that sort of built up that bridge between you and the club that kept you there so long?
I don't know really. I think the East End crowd, they're sort of down to earth people, and we always built up a bit of a rapport. Hackney, whenever I rode at Hackney, I felt like I was at home, and I didn't particularly want to ride anywhere else. So yeah, good times.
And what was for those who never got the chance to get to Waterden Road, what was it like as a facility? What was it like to ride? Because the few times I went there, I saw so many racing lines, so much passing.
It wasn't quite as scary as what I'm doing now. But I've never been scared on a speedway bike, but doing interviews, it gets to me.
Okay, we'll keep them quiet. One thing, just a few highlights I do want to cover with you there. I know the Hawks were never really built to necessarily to win league championships. They were always built to be a very exciting team. But you did come very, very close in 1980, so close to pipping Reading. What do you remember about that?
Yeah, that's probably one of the better years. You know, we didn't always have the best of teams, but you know, you just do the best you can with what you got. it was good to get that high up that particular year.
And I know you did get a championship at the tail end of your career. I think it was 1988, alongside the likes of Andy Galvin, Mark Lorham. Somebody called Chris Louis was just coming through the ranks as well, and I remember the book about it, 7 men for one season. That was a magnificent 7 men.
Yeah, that was brilliant, really, you know, and the good thing, I'm quite proud really that some of that team came from the highway training school, which, you know, I think 4 out of the 7 were ex-highway trainees, so that gave me a big kick.
Absolutely, and if one race stands out, I wasn't there to witness it, but everybody talks about 1977, Last Bend, Ivan Mauger, Scott Autry, and a race which I believe actually won Wight City the league championship. But there, what can you remember, if you can remember those 4 laps from 41 years ago, what do you remember?
I can remember them actually, but I'd love to see a film of it. I just remember trying my best to get Ivan and Scott over team riding. I spent, as I remember it, 3 laps riding the inside and not really getting anywhere. But I actually kept up with them. So going in the last turn, Scott left quite a gap between himself and the fence as we entered the corner. But I dived in there, managed to pick up another group. Ivan realised I was coming through as we came out the turn, and I saw him just go to move out the touch, but it was just a little bit late really, and it's one of those races that just happened to go right on the night.
And did you ever get a thank you from Wight City?
Yes, I did. I had a telegram from the Wight City Supporters Club thanking me for that particular race.
Well, they were the champions that year, but you are a People's Champion. Delighted to see the book selling out, but place your orders again today for future copies. Barry Thomas, Tomahawk, thanks very much.
Thank you.